I know it's 10 o'clock. We have our regular Township Tuesday today. Just a few announcements. First of all, hello from the hockey rink where my kid is skating. So that's in the background. Um, Secondly, the district meetings start today. So your Township Association staff is just on the run. You guys know, with 13 districts throughout the state for Matt. And then they start today down in southern Minnesota with District 1, then they go to District 2 and across the state. So I hope you have a chance to make it there. I'm sending out Legislative and Research Committee information today that'll be in Mankato on September 12th for our day to set help work on the association's legislative agenda. And just a reminder about the annual meeting, that registration stuff should be coming out soon as well. You guys, we have a special Township Tuesday today. We have a guest speaker, Andrew Wrucke, with I think it's LTAP, right? You'll have to introduce yourself and share. I know Graham Moberg set this up. And so I'll let Andrew share his screen and talk about what he's going to share today, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So go ahead, Andrew.
All right, thank you. Can everybody see my screen? Perfect.
Yes, looks great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna give just a quick presentation on gravel basics. Some of this may be general knowledge that you already know, but it's good to go back over the basics of gravel roads, because that's something we're all keeping or preserving. So my name is Andrew Wrucke. I'm a professional engineer, and I'm with the Minnesota Local Technical Assistance Program at the University of Minnesota at the Center for Transportation Studies. So a little bit about myself. I am a licensed professional engineer in Minnesota and North Dakota. Before I worked at this U of M, I practiced for 9 years. 4 of those were at Cass County Highway Department in North Dakota. That's the one that Fargo sits in. And then 5 years as an engineer at the city of West Fargo. Both of those entities had gravel roads that we had to maintain, that we had to repair, that we had to update. Currently, I'm the LTAP director at the University of Minnesota. I started a little over a year ago, and since I'm presenting to the townships, I decided to give my location within the township range and section, and I am in an incorporated township. So this is based off of a lot of different guides, this presentation. I kind of use 5 main ones for building this presentation, one very heavily, but we'll discuss kind of what all is out there for information. So the first one here is the design guide, Minnesota Design Guide for Low Volume Aggregate Surface Roads. It's 30 plus years old. It was published in 1992 by the local road research board. It's still valid. It's just a little bit dated in the look. Wisconsin has a manual out for grading gravel roads through what they call their PACER. This is also through Wisconsin LTAP and their university. South Dakota has a gravel roads manual that they worked with the Federal Highway Administration on. That's 25 years old at this point. This one also has some good information that's been well updated. And it's not just a US thing that we deal with gravel roads. This is a manual from Australia, Austroads. Their pavement technology in gravel roads. They use the term unsealed pavements for theirs. But this is the main guide that I'll be using to talk today. It's the Federal Highway Administration Gravel Roads Construction and Maintenance Guide. This is available for free on the Federal Highway Administration site. It's about 10 years old, and it's well updated and contains a lot of really useful information for gravel road maintenance and construction. If you want to go further into this topic, this is a great resource to start with, because it has all the information that you'll need to really rebuild or reconstruct your roads. So the agenda here quick. We're going to discuss proper road geometry. We're going to discuss gravel selection. And we're going to discuss routine maintenance. These are kind of the three big things that can help with gravel roads and keep them in good shape. So gravel road geometry. When you're building your gravel roads, it should contain three major elements: a crown driving surface, a shoulder that slopes away from the driving surface, and a ditch to convey water. So a crown driving surface, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's sloped with a high point in the middle, so that water flows away from the middle, flows away from the road into the ditches. The optimal crown is 4%, or a 1/2 inch drop per foot of width from the center line. You also need a separate shoulder that slopes away from the driving surface, and it also acts as a transition between your roadway and the ditch. And then also a ditch to convey water. So this is a photo from the FHWA manual showing all of those particular geometry pieces. So you have your road surface, which is where the public drives on. You have the shoulder, which is a small area that acts as a transition with a little bit steeper grade. Then you have a ditch, which has kind of three elements: your back slope, your foreslope, and your ditch. It's important to make sure that the foreslope is as flat as you can make it for safety reasons, because again, if it is steep, you can have problems where people will, if they leave the roadway surface, lose further control of their vehicle. So general road geometry and drainage guidance. You'll want to have a ditch on both sides of the road. That's not always possible. There's always right-of-way issues or grade issues. When I worked in North Dakota, I joked that we didn't have those issues because there's no landscape to really deal with. But if you do have the ability to have a drainage on both sides of the road where you have a crown draining to both directions, that is what you should be doing. You'll want a 2-foot vertical clearance. So you want 2 feet from the bottom of the ditch to the top of the roadway at least. That provides you ample vertical clearance to get the water off the roadway. You'll want at least a 2-foot flat bottom. That just makes it easier to maintain. And then you'll want a gentle slope. Again, the preferred number is a 4-to-1. So every 4 feet horizontal, you drop 1 foot vertical. I know that's not always possible, but that is best for clear zone and for safety reasons. And again, these are just rules of thumb. They aren't design standards. So another great thing about this geometry is it can lead to reduced maintenance costs. So if you have a properly designed road, if you have a properly built road, it creates less maintenance requirements, sheds water better, so it has less water and therefore less frost damage in the spring. And then it also creates less corrugation and potholes. Photo here shows one that is very flat, has a lot of potholes, a lot of corrugation, that sort of thing. Next on, we'll talk about gravel. So gravel selection is important because it can really make or break. Even if you have a properly proper geometry to the road, your gravel can still make it so that your road doesn't function well and requires a lot of maintenance. So good surface gravel is important to maintaining the quality surface. MnDOT has done a lot of the work for you guys. They have a specific specification for surface aggregate that you can hold all of your contractors to. So when you're purchasing aggregate, you can say, I want class 1 or class 2 gravel, according to the MnDOT spec. That really helps specify and understand with your contractor what you're looking for. And so the most effective way to look for this is sieve testing. You can always request that from your contractors. They'll have a sieve test of their piles to show you, hey, this is what we're pulling from. This is what the sieve test is. Another thing I would advise is if you're buying a very, very large quantity of gravel, maybe look into getting a third party to test the placed material. So when they haul it out, make sure that they're pulling out of the correct pile. Make sure that they're actually representing what they're, or giving you what they represented in the testing. Any engineering firm in the state will have either the ability to do this for you, or they know of a firm that can within your area. This will be a statewide thing that can be done. It's a very small fee for very good cost benefit analysis because it will ensure that you're getting the material that you say you're paying for. So this is a chart from the MnDOT specification. Again, this is available fully online. If you want to look, just search MnDOT specification. This is table 3138.2, but it shows what you're looking for. You want class 1 or class 2 surfacing. Class 1 has a little bit more binder in it, or a little bit tighter binder specification, and class 2 is more of a quarry rock and has a little bit higher binder range available for it. Either one of these will be your more optimal solution for a surfacing because it is designed to be a better surface. Class 5 is kind of the standard gravel that you can find across the state of Minnesota. That is used for a base, not for a surface. And as you can see, it has a lot lower clays amount, which means it won't shed water quite as well. It won't compact together, won't bind as well. So the number 200 is what your binder is considered at the bottom of the chart. Another couple of little rules of thumb: avoid pit run and other sand-based gravels. They don't contain that binder, that clay that holds it together, that creates a solid surface for the water to shed off of. And then if you have the ability to crush material, look at getting that. It is more angular, has better stability, and locks in together with itself a lot better. And then the addition of fines or clay can help revive some of your old gravel. So you can just, in theory, with proper design, maybe some engineering discussions, go buy bags of bentonite and put those on the road and blend those in. That'll again create the binder that seals the roadway. Now you can have too much binder and that creates the greasy roadways. And again, one of your biggest things that tells you have low binder is if you have a large amount of dust, because the binder is what holds that dust in along with being the dust. And then I just pulled this chart up to kind of show you, don't need to worry about the shrinkage product, the grading coefficient. This is from that Osterroads guide. And it shows you that there's kind of this really nice Goldilocks zone of your gravel where it can be too slippery with too much binder and can corrugate and ravel with not enough binder. Or it can be erodible or ravel with other issues within the gradation. But there's this very large area, I mean, it's a big space of the chart that is considered good gravel. And so you want to make sure that when you are purchasing gravel, to reduce your maintenance costs, to reduce the amount of times you need to go blade and pull the gravels out, or to reduce how, when it rains, does it become slippery, to get in this zone. And this is generally where class 1 and class 2 will sit. And then the discussion of routine maintenance. This is where, this can be really difficult for some townships because you may not have maintenance people on call at all times, but it is required to maintain your roadways. Maintenance frequencies on all gravel roadways is just like any other roadway. It's based on traffic. High volume roads, low volume roads will require different maintenance frequencies. There's also some really good maintenance principles to think about. Maintaining that 3 to 5 mile an hour pace. Making sure you have that proper moldboard angle and pitch, which is in the gravel guide. I won't go further into that today, but that is something to look at. Reestablishing proper and straight crown. Creating and spreading windrows, not creating that secondary ditch or that secondary, mound on the edge of the roadways or in the middle of the roadway that doesn't shed water or holds water, and then avoiding the high shoulders, that secondary ditch. Those things are important to make sure that your roadways can last a lot longer with the material that you have. And then these again are rules of thumb or best practices. Whatever your township can afford for maintenance, is what you should be looking to do. Some maintenance is better than no maintenance. So something to look at is restoring the crown twice yearly. When I was at the city of West Fargo, we had gravel alleyways that we went through and twice yearly restored the crown on them, went through and bladed them. So we ran a motor grader through the middle of a town. Add gravel every 3 to 5 years. Again, that's good to refresh your material, make sure you don't lose it all. Sometimes you do lose some of it into the ditches. And so then you need to look at cleaning your ditches every 15 years or every 3 to 5 gravelings, depending upon your frequency. So again, whatever you can do afford as a township is enough maintenance, but these are some better practices or best practices laid out in the Federal Highway Manual. And then one thing kind of off discussion, but important to talk about is stabilizers. And a lot of counties and townships have looked at investing in stabilizers. But the most important thing about stabilizers is stabilizers can't fix a road. They can only maintain a good road. So before investing in stabilization, make sure you have a good road, good gravel, good geometry, because stabilizers are not a silver bullet to fix a road. There's many types available in Minnesota: chlorides, petroleum and agricultural oils, including soybean oils, and then other commercial dust control agents that are proprietary, and they don't really tell you what it's made of, but they say it works. So if you have additional questions, LTAP has training resources available. We have 3 courses that involve gravel roads. They're all online, and you can walk through them. Additional resources are through the local road research board. There's a gravel road management tool, a snow and ice control on gravel roads study, best practices for dust control. These are all available on the LRRB, Local Road Research Board website, lrrb.org. Any questions? If not, my contact information is you can just look us up at mnltap.umn.edu, and my contact information is available on our website on our staff listing, and then also I believe I have it on the opening slide.
Andrew, there's a couple questions in the chat.
Okay. So if you're putting chlorides on your road, best practice is to put the fresh gravel on and then chloride, because then you have additional binders. So chlorides work like mag chloride or calcium chloride. They're working as stabilizers. What they're doing is removing moisture or keeping a constant moisture within your binder. And so you'll want that fresh binder into your roadway before you put the chlorides on. And chlorides also make it really difficult, as we all know, to maintain it. So they kind of lock in everything for a little while. And so you'll want to put the fresh gravel on and run a maintainer through before you put your chlorides on. So the manual that I referenced, the Federal Highway Manual, that's just available on the website. If you just search Gravel Design Guide FHWA, that should get you to the website that has that available. It's fully available. The first one that I showed, the LRRB manual, or the Minnesota gravel one, that's available on the LRRB website. Subcontractors are using questionable binders. I haven't had any experience with questionable binders. Normally what I've worked in Northwest Minnesota and Eastern North Dakota my entire career. We have just absolute terrible gravel here, so we're pretty happy whenever we get something. And usually it's been up in the Barnesville area that we've been pulling gravel from, and that's crushed aggregate, and the binder is usually pretty good. Again, if you have questions about what kind of binder what kind of binder is being used, you can always ask the contractor, or you can work with a consultant engineer, and they can definitely look into that for you, because yeah, some pits could have some poor aggregate. The restoring the crown, additional work beyond regular grading. I would say yes, it is. Regular grading is more to just reset that surface. Sometimes that'll continually create a flatter and flatter surface depending on your maintenance operator. And so looking to make sure that you have that 4% crown, you'll want to make sure that you have that twice a year, once a year, whenever you can. But it will be a more involved version of just a regular grading. If you have a really good gravel or maintenance operator and they don't damage the crown for an entire season, great, then you don't need to restore the crown. But more establishing the crown or reestablishing the crown is more of a, let's look at it and make sure we have it at 4%. So it's going to just take a little bit longer than just a normal regular grading. Is there a chart on replacing gravel according to the speed limit and traffic count? Not that I've seen in my research. It's kind of one of those, you just need to make sure that you have a certain amount of gravel, pay attention to any dust complaints, and see what your maintenance people are saying. The website into the chat, are you looking for Minnesota LTAP.mn.edu? Sorry, MNLTAP.umn.edu is the website. That'll be our website for those research, or for our courses. That's available as online courses. There's also lrb.org, which is the local road research board. That is a research arm of the local agencies in Minnesota. They're doing a lot. They have a lot of the research research information there. And then also, one of the last ones that I also had on here was the FHW gravel roads courses. Those are again available on the FHWA.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. And as a reminder, I will get this recording of the Zoom on the Met website, and also, if it's okay with you, Andrew, put the PowerPoint on our website too.
Yep.
So folks can click on these links and have these slides in case they want to share those with folks. I think it was really helpful. Do folks have additional questions before we wrap up our presentation today? Do folks have additional questions just for township stuff? Anything? Nothing? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Chuck. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you. I was told by our township lawyer that representation that there was a change again to the open meeting part or law about zooming in now, that the specifications for posting that have been maybe eased a bit. Is that accurate? It's sometime in maybe May or June?
I can field this one. Yeah, that's right. They've gone and made Zoom meetings quite a bit easier. Let me see if I can grab the.
While Graham's looking it up, Chuck, in your while Graham's looking up the file, you should have received your Township Insider magazine.
Correct.
Like yesterday or today.
Days ago. Okay.
Yeah, and Steve Fensky, the Met General Counsel, has his article specifically about this, if that's helpful. So
Sure it will be. I apologize, I didn't get through it yet, but
yeah, I know it's a lot, but yeah, and then Graham will share the screen too, because this is important to know about what you can do for virtual meetings.
So this is pretty straightforward. You can see here what they have. The strike through is what they have gotten rid of. So now each location and a member of the body is present no longer has to be open and accessible to the public, meaning that you don't have to have that doctor's excuse that that thing is gone now. So so all it is you have to be able to hear and see one another. You have to be able to hear and see all discussion. Members of the public present at the regular meeting location have to be able to see everything. One person has to be physically present, and then you have to do votes by roll call. Then in addition, all the notice that you have to provide now is the fact that members may participate in the meeting by interactive technology. So you don't have to go and say, all right, I will be participating at this specific library at this specific time. It's just somebody can appear by remote technology. So
Thank you for the verbiage. That'll be a good thing to put on the posting then. So thank you.
Yep.
Good. I think we're all set, Graham. And Andrew, thank you for so much. I think we all thank Andrew for his expertise. I mean, that's amazing resource to have with LTAP and you, Andrew. So appreciate you guys jumping on, and we will see you next time.
Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.